Our talk today is about gambling. Recently, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior Coordination released some statistics that came as a shock to many people. These statistics show that more and more populace of the young people are involved in gambling, and about 500,000 of them have been enlisted in credit firms and credit reference bureaus for defaulting in paying loans. What is the challenge that we have as a nation? That the young people who are supposed to be the workforce and leaders who are supposed to be taking over are heavily involved in this vice called gambling. And I call it a vice because it has been categorized in the same way as other psychological disorders such as stress, depression, alcoholism. So there is a way people who have the issue of gambling find themselves in depression, in taking alcohol. And suicidal thoughts are present. Really, I've had people who have committed suicide as a result of engaging in gambling. Contemporary culture teaches us that if you have more, then you are better. More is better for you and for your use. If I had more money, if I had better house, if I was living in better conditions, then that life would have been more appropriate and better for me. Which is really not the case. Which is really beside the point. So people are involved in practices that are bound to give them more money, more wealth, resources at whatever point. And this is besides the point. This is missing out on the point because the value of work is lost. And I want to give 5 reasons as to why Christians should never be involved in gambling. And number 1, gambling displaces the place of the sovereignty of God in our lives. Why does it do so? It does this through removing the given place of God, so not viewing God as sovereign, but looking at Him as providing through gambling, believing in luck or chance, which is idolatry. These are words that are actually said by one of the famous, renowned preachers called John MacArthur. Everything that you have, it is God who has given you. What you don't have, God has not given you, and at the end, it works for His purpose. But believing in luck or chance is idolatry, which violates even the commandment of God that you shall have no other gods apart from me. So we violate God's command by engaging in gambling, which is not expected of us as Christians, believing in luck or chance. But number 2, gambling violates the command of stewardship. Psalm 24 verse 1 and 2 and thereabouts, the Bible says that all of creation, the world and its all belongings belong to God. And so we are supposed to be stewards of God's resources. The parable of the talents reminds us of one person who was given 5 talents, another one was given 2 talents, and the other one was given 1 talent. The one who was given 5 talents invested and got 5 more talents. The other one who was given 2 talents invested, and there were 2 more talents, made them 4. But the other one who had been given 1 decided they're not going to invest that talent. But they chose to hide it because this master reaps where he does not sow. What does the master respond? We look at Matthew chapter 25. The story is from Matthew 25 verse 14 through to 31. And verse 30 says, "Cast this worthless servant into the outside where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Now note this. The servant is being punished for not investing. Yet we have people whom God has entrusted resources, yet they are wasting the resources. How much more punishment do we expect from God? If indeed we are wasting His resources instead of investing it for a good cause. But number 3, gambling displaces the place of work. The Bible says that anyone who does not work to provide for his family is worse than an infidel, is worse than an unbeliever. Sitting in those gambling dens is not work. There are some who would argue with that one. But work is where you engage yourself for a worthy cause or for a cause, and which would result into rewards. Spending your energy. I'm even reminded of the definition of work in my physics, that work is a product of force times the perpendicular distance moved. So that we need to engage our minds on what God has given us and be fruitful in that which we have been entrusted to. We have been entrusted to, which we need to prove faithful for that. And the other reason is that gambling is motivated by greed and covetousness. My argument would be, it is centered on this, greed and covetousness. We are never comfortable with what we have. And Paul says in Philippians chapter 4 that he has learned what it means to be without, and he has also learned to live with much. But in all these things, he has learned to be content, and therefore he can do all things through Christ who gives him strength. We are called upon to embrace a life of simplicity, not living beyond our means. If you look at some of the adverts that are running on gambling, they are motivated by greed and covetousness. Someone who wins, spending their time in the hotel, taking the best kinds of food. Someone saying building a better house. Comparison. When we start looking at others and we think we are not as good as they are, it's motivated by greed. They need to make more money because we want to live a better lifestyle. We're not making that money through the right means. Finally, gambling would only survive if people are losing. And we forget this quite easily, that for you to win, then there must be someone who is losing. Just a quick review of the gambling companies. One, they need to pay rent for their premises, they need to pay employers, they need to pay employees, they also need to pay for other bills, advertising costs, costs on radio which are quite exorbitant, and statistics that have released 2015 by PricewaterhouseCoopers, the annual turnover was $2 billion. Last month, the annual turnover, as we were told by the Cabinet Secretary out of the statistics that were done, we're talking about $202 billion. Now, this sounds easy, but let's take a moment. If you're given $1 billion and you're spending $1 million a month, you will need to spend that money for 87 years, spending $1 million a month. Now, consider 200 billion lost through gambling. How much difference would that make for our country? Talking about loss of others, we've had students who have taken away their lives, but also even people. One man from Eldoret who took a loan of 45,000 shillings and used it in gambling. When they lost it, they committed suicide because it was from a loan from a cooperative society. And they knew this would be hard paying money. A student was given 80,000 shillings. Decided to stake 40,000 on one and 40,000 on the other. on the other team. Too bad for him, the match went on a draw. Let us beware as we take on Gambia. And these results would count for both believers and non-believers. Keep following this channel for more as we look for more topics to discuss them, topics that are affecting the young generation. If we do not take our place, certainly someone else will. We must step out. Morning away.